Welcome, one and all. We've been gone for a while from YouTube. We apologize dearly. Thanksgiving was a busy week for me and Blake, but we're back. We're so back.
We got family ish, you know what I'm talking about.
It's who we are. Good dudes, good guys. Come from good stock. But we're here for the Everyman's Fantasy Football Podcast to go over Week 12, the Thanksgiving week. We're going to start with the Thanksgiving games. We're going to end with some news, and of course, our long-awaited game picks. Blake is 12-19. I'm 13-10-1. Now,
12-19. You said 13-1?
13-10-1. One tie in there. It was a push. Anyway, back to the game picks. Oh. The first game of Thanksgiving Day. Boy, was it a good one. Detroit, beaten up by the Green Bay Packers.
Even though Jared Goff played like cheeks again.
He did. 3 turnovers in this game. 3 fumbles. Not picks. Picks were the previous week.
Still 3 giveaways regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep the ball.
6 turnovers in like 8 days.
Sam Laporta.
Just not going to
work. Good week though.
Sam Laporta, super back. Also, Amon-Ra. What?
Rah, 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 rah.
Rah, rah, oh mama. Gaga, ooh la la.
Watch out for Amon-Ra.
That worked. That did work. But let's go to the Packers side. The guys that won this game. Jordan Love, a great game. Ben's complaining about moving him up on the QB rankings.
You need to see it more than once.
Exactly. Thank you. I need to see some consistency. No more ducks. Because Jordan Love is great with the ducks, man. A duck for you. A duck for you. I hear quacking every time I watch that guy play, Ben. Give it a few more games. A.J. Dillon, his usual 11 points when Aaron Jones doesn't play. But I mean, overall, a great win for Green Bay, who's back in the hunt at 5-6, and Detroit sits at 8-3. 2-game lead in that division. They should be fine. They should be fine. Moving to our second Thanksgiving Day game, the Cowboys versus the Commanders. This was an absolute blowout.
Thought it'd be a better game. I thought Sam Howell had more in him.
I mean, Sam Howell, he's good against the Eagles. I guess he's not good against the Cowboys. What are the Cowboys doing differently that the Eagles aren't doing? That's the real question.
Pick sixes?
Perhaps. Perhaps yes. Perhaps. They're doing something differently because the Cowboys blow out the Commanders. The Eagles win by a touchdown.
The Eagles barely squeak it out every year.
I mean, Sam Howell, he's been a consistent start every week. On the other side, though, Dak Prescott's the QB1 since week 6. Far and above the rest since week 6.
Stud lately.
I mean, he's averaging like 28 or 29 since week 6. It's unbelievable, man. To have a guy in your lineup consistently putting up those points for you, it's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Pollard, semi-back. He's been scoring lately. We didn't just watch the Thursday night football game where he scored again. But we did.
And he did.
Tony Pollard's been great lately. No one really on the Washington side is very consistent. I mean, I see Curtis Samuel had 12 targets. I'm sure he'll get 2 or 3 this week. It's just how it works over there, man.
Yeah.
That coaching situation's a little bit confusing.
I feel like he'll get none this week.
Maybe. I mean, Ron Rivera needs to
retire.
On bye. Rivera needs to retire.
You think so?
Yeah, Bieniemy should take over this team. Yeah, I think so. I mean...
Yeah, I agree.
They should lose out and Bieniemy should take over and they should start anew and clean house, in my humble opinion. CeeDee Lamb didn't really go off last week. I mean, 17 points. That's a low amount.
Very serviceable.
Can definitely service with that. But that brings us to our last Thanksgiving Day game. Another blowout. Christian McCaffrey, just an unbelievable player.
Him.
Scoring touchdowns here, scoring touchdowns there.
The white knight of fantasy football.
He really is just incredible. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's he's a joy to watch.
Yeah. Purdy,
Geno, bad play from both of them. But Purdy got the job done. Well, his team got the job done.
Seahawks looked like stank against the 49ers.
They always do.
Who knows how they'll play against a stout Dallas D this week?
Who knows?
Not us.
We don't know because we didn't just watch the Thursday night football game or anything right before this.
Definitely didn't.
Deebo Samuel, are you buying in? Do you think he's going to continue these good fantasy days? You think it's going to be inconsistent?
Yes. There's going to be weeks where he gets 2 targets and 20 rushing yards.
True. I feel like Ayuk's the more consistent guy, you know.
Seems like it this year.
13, 15, you know, a game.
But I think they're all inconsistent, honestly.
Yeah, they just have too many good players, man. Can't spread the wealth.
Too many suddenly mouths to feed.
Say that for Seattle, too, with Lockett, DK, and JSN, you know. I'm sure there's going to be those weeks where DK gets, 3 touchdowns and 150 all-purpose yards. Those happen, you know.
Happen.
Do they happen against, teams that have great cornerbacks, guys that break NFL records with pick sixes? Yeah, I mean, he's that kind of player.
Yeah.
All right, back to this stuff. We didn't just watch the Thursday night football game.
No, we didn't.
But yeah, I mean, San Francisco, they're favored going against the Eagles next week. We'll go into that in our game picks.
I think that's kind of dumb, but yeah, like you said.
I mean, they're a hot team right now. Makes sense. Moving to the Black Friday special, the first ever NFL football game on Black Friday. It was the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets.
And it was a blowout.
It was a blowout.
But it was cool to have boring. A Friday game.
It was cool. Felt like high school again.
Yeah.
Too bad I had to watch Tim Boyle. That guy's awful.
Friday afternoon lights. Natural light.
That worked.
From the sun.
I mean, Tua. Why does Tua suck
now? Tua just hasn't been clicking. I mean, Miami's offense is still great. Raheem Mostert, I know, popped off. Had a pretty good run, I think, for a touchdown. He had a couple touchdowns, but I think one was a significant run. Tua just, has a really low floor. High ceiling, low floor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree. Tyreek, he's a
good
walking
no matter
quarter.
What.
Walking
good no matter
quarter
what.
Every time he's going to get 25 or more.
Doesn't matter how Tua plays, Tyreek is going to eat.
I like Tim Boyle feeding Garrett Wilson. Get the ball to your best players. That's what's most important. Get the ball in Brees and Garrett's hands. But their season's over. Aaron Rodgers coming off of IR doesn't make any sense to me.
Stupid.
Why would he risk re-injuring himself? He's 40 years old. Like, dude, go back and do a wellness retreat. Sit in the dark for 4 hours and figure out that you shouldn't play football.
Take some mushrooms.
Until 2024. It's not that big of a deal, man. We get it. Season-ending injuries suck, especially on 9/11, right before you're about to blow out the Buffalo Bills on primetime and maybe lead the Jets to a Super Bowl. But, we're patient fans. We're ready to see you next year. Don't push it, A-Rod. Don't push it. Moving into Sunday, you can talk about this game. I'm going to stay silent the entire time.
Divisional matchup. We love our divisional matchups. Russell loves them. Russell actually bet on his Saints in this game versus the Falcons. Kind of unlike him, but he did it, But they lost 24-15 to Atlanta. If I'm not mistaken, there were a ton of turnovers in this game. Derek Carr picked, Desmond Ridder expectedly threw a couple. I think there was maybe a fumble or so on the Saints side. Russell's checking his watch because he doesn't like hearing me talk about this, but I'm going to.
I just don't think there's any reason to hit 60 seconds on this segment, but go ahead.
Bijan Robinson with a phenomenal game. Alvin Kamara, serviceable. Getting checked down plenty of times per usual. 5 targets, 4 catches. Bijan looks good going forward. Over 20 touches last week. 20 attempted touches this week, despite Algier and Patterson having a combined 18, but Bijan's getting heavily used. You like to see it. Olave might be back. Concussed, maybe. Who knows?
Absolutely fed in that first half. Would have shredded them for 200 yards if he hadn't gotten hurt.
Fed. Ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very disappointing. The Saints' red zone offense is absolutely abysmal. Our OC should have been fired weeks ago. He's far and above the worst OC in the league if you just look at the stats. I mean, what more do they have to do? They ruin everything. When it's a loss to the Falcons, it's so much worse. Moving to our next matchup, though, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Stinky.
A divisional matchup.
But stinky.
But very stinky. Also bet on this game. Also took the Steelers. It was very hot last Sunday with my picks. The Steelers fired Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator that has held them back all year. And guess what happens? They go over 400 yards of offense and they win a football game.
They look good.
And they look good. Why haven't the Saints done this? Back to the Steelers, though. Kenny Pickett looked good.
Been winning games anyways, but their offense did look better.
Abysmal.
They might not have scored a lot of points, but they looked better.
Najee Harris Jalen Warren. Both been great lately. Yeah. Playing the Cardinals this week, too. I mean, I want both of those guys on my line.
Oh, yeah. Fantasy. They're going to both eat.
On the Cincinnati side, everyone just takes a downgrade with Joe gone. Especially Jamar and T. I don't even know if T's going to play this week. He might just sit out for the year and get a new contract with another team at this rate.
Honestly.
But, yeah. I'm not buying any stock in Cincinnati right now with Joe gone. Pittsburgh on the up and up, though. Good win for them. Another divisional matchup. God, I love these. I love these divisional matchups.
They're always close games.
Yeah, they are. Jacksonville versus Houston was probably the game of the noon slate.
It was a great game.
It was a great game. We were sweating the over-under in our game picks. I came out victorious.
I was wrong.
Trevor Lawrence has been great lately. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence has been
great at stealing end zone rushes from Travis Etienne.
364 yards passing, though. 304 from CJ on the other side. This was a pass-heavy game. Very exciting to watch. Running back's not too heavily involved. Singletary's been great lately. Those receptions are what matters, though, in fantasy for sure.
Tank Dell was torching Jacksonville in the first half.
And he got hurt. He got hurt. I think that's why he slowed down in that second half.
There were a couple of plays called back.
Yeah, I mean,
one near the out of bounds, one taken back by a penalty.
I mean, they definitely went into that locker room and were like, "This fucking rookie is shredding us. Like, if you guys can't cover this rookie, you're not going to be on this football team anymore. You're going to get fired. You're going to be homeless. Like, cover Tank Dell." So then Tank Dell disappeared in the second half.
Yeah.
And Houston lost. It definitely played a big part. You know, Tank Dell's been great for them. Christian Kirk, that's your boy.
Yeah, he had a nice 40-yard catch somewhere in the game.
Like
their biggest play of the game.
He's been serviceable. Calvin Ridley, too, the last couple of weeks. The touchdown and the 2-point conversion definitely helped, but
Calvin's been eating good.
He's been playing great lately.
Kirk went out of bounds at the 1-yard line somewhere in this game.
Exactly. He went down right at the 1. I thought he was about to score. Great win for Jacksonville, though, who moves to 8-3. I think they're tied for first in the AFC right now. I'll go all over this game. I know you don't want to.
Oh, dude.
It was the Colts versus the Bucks. The Bucks all year have looked like a decent football team, and they just lose in a close one to everyone they play.
Except the last month.
Well, I mean, you have to say, the Bucks offense.
Like a good team.
The Bucks offense is good. The Bucks offense is good. That's what I'm trying to say. The Bucks offense is decent. It's good. It's a good offense. They move the football, but their defense is getting shredded. And it seems, turnovers come at the worst possible times for them.
Yeah, if Baker's going to have one, I wish he'd just throw it in the first quarter and get it out of the way. He's not throwing a lot of
fumble in the fourth quarter. The fumbles in the fourth quarter from running back, receiver, and obviously QB killed the Bucs. And it seems to happen every week with them. JT, great game from him. Two scores on the ground. He did get hurt. He's going to be out for a few weeks.
Taylor. Yeah, I got thumb surgery.
Yeah, He's going to take his time.
Zach Moss, superstar. As long as JT's out.
Absolutely.
Throw him in.
He's an RB1. Zach Moss is an RB1 with JT gone.
Yep. Proved it earlier in the year.
Mike Evans. The numbers don't lie with that guy.
Mike Evans is a start every week, man.
En route to his 10th 1,000
Mike Evans is QB proof. Give him J-Boo. Give him the GOAT. Give him Baker.
I said J-Boo. Jabu.
Famous Jameis.
Jabu wins. That's his name. Jabu wins. Famous Jameis.
Famous.
Hopefully the QB1 of the Saints before the
famous in this house, that's for sure.
Yeah, very famous here. We love Jameis here. There's posters everywhere. You just can't see them.
They're all in my room.
In the bathroom too.
Yep. In the closet.
Mostly in the bathroom. Bad loss for Tampa Bay though. I know you hate to see it. I love to see it just because I love to see the Bucs lose, but
very disappointing. Downfall.
To the most boring game of the week. It was the Giants versus the Patriots. Another bet I hit. Giants +4 was super free. The Patriots have been atrocious all year. Same with the Giants. The Giants have looked a little bit better with DeVito at QB.
Yeah, actually.
They've looked kind of decent. Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones legitimately split touches at QB in this game.
And they both
never
sucked.
Seen that in my life. I've never seen two QBs. It's not like it was a dual threat guy in the past.
It's not like Taysom Hill and Derek Carr. It's not Taysom coming in and rushing the ball and like making you like change up your whole defensive.
It was old Joe Flacco and old Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, honestly.
That's how they move. That's how they throw.
A couple bombs, man.
This game ended 10-7. Patriots lost. What's new? Ramondre is like that shimmering glimmer of hope. Him and Saquon are in very similar situations. The only good options on their football team in fantasy.
But their teams are so bad, it makes you scared even.
Scared.
You have to start them because the player's good, but the team is so bad. I mean, Saquon had 6 fantasy points.
Jalen Hyatt, 109 yards, 5 catches. Love to see that. Love to see a rookie get work like that. I watched some of those plays too. He looked great. Demario Douglas.
Shout out our boy Demario Douglas.
Shout out the
Cade's boy.
Cade's boy Demario Douglas. Liberty, go Flames. Go and get that GAT this weekend. Undefeated. Should be in the top 12. Next year they're going to be in the college playoff. I'm calling it now. Especially if Cade gets, a higher position, which is what he deserves. But yeah, back to these guys. Demario's did pick up an injury. I don't think he's playing this week, but regardless, Patriots should lose out so they can go and get a generational QB.
They should.
They're going to miss out on one at this rate. Next matchup, another very boring game. Carolina versus Tennessee. Tennessee came out with a win here. Carolina 1-10. Don't even have their first round pick.
What are you doing?
That's got to be the worst situation as a fan to be in. Is watching your team be 1-10, worst in the league, and you don't even have the pick. I mean,
they don't even have anything to trade for a first round pick. What would you give up? Their quarterback he was drafted, you can't. I mean, they're just a bad football team with nothing to build with next year. They're just going to continue to be bad. Their players, Adam Thielen, one of the few bright spots this year, is going to just be older next year.
It's sad, man. It really is. Like, they're about to go through a similar situation that the Bucks kind of went through.
But as an NFC South Tampa Bay fan, I don't really care. Fuck the Panthers.
Fuck the Panthers. That's how I am. Tennessee, Will Levis, the touchdowns will come.
Yeah.
He continues to, throw the ball a ton.
Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns. Good for him this week.
Mm-hmm.
You like to see that. You need to see that. Tajay Spears getting less work. You never know when he's going to come in and be a little goblin.
I think this is Derrick Henry's last hoorah for Tennessee anyway, so...
Gotta be.
I'd buy some stock in Tajay while I can.
Mm-hmm.
No other fantasy options here, so we're going to move on.
Yep.
We're going to go into a divisional matchup, the return of the king. It was the return of the king. It was Kyren Williams versus the Arizona Cardinals. Kyren came out swinging, scored a couple times, 200-plus all-purpose yards. I mean, he's so back, and I'm so happy to see it.
I mean, Kyren looked phenomenal. You would never guess he just missed 5 weeks. You would never guess he was out the last 5 weeks.
He took his time, and he was like, you know what? I want to come back when we play Arizona. Because Arizona can't stop anybody. He is a genius for that. Kyler Murray continues to be the king of garbage time, and his best friend, Hollywood Brown. Watching them play in my lineup it's terrifying. It's terrifying because they have no points, and then suddenly at the end of the game they get a few points, and it's like, oh, finally the stress is lifted. Matt Stafford finally had a good game, but none of his wide receivers
Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua did not have
he had a great game. He threw all the touchdowns to Kyren, or handed them off to Kyren, or he threw them to Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, Higbee had 2, didn't he?
Yeah. Higbee had 2 scores. Hollywood, 12 targets. I love to see that. I don't like to see 6 catches, though, on 12 targets.
Yeah, on 12. Yeah, you gotta haul at least 8 out of 12.
But yeah, when Matt Stafford finally has a great passing game, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are non-existent.
A little concerning, but you like to see, honestly, Kyren coming back as a threat. Teams will have to respect that, open up the passing game a little more with an elite running back. Mm-hmm. It'll really help the Rams' offense, I think.
Yeah, their offense is like low-key very good.
It is.
We're going to move to a blowout here, a resounding win for Denver, who have now won 5 in a row.
Beating
5 in a row.
The Chiefs, the Browns, and
the Bills.
The Bills in this 5-game stretch. I mean, those are all good teams.
The Broncos are playing like a top football team in the league right now.
Crazy.
Russell Wilson, he's hasn't been super special, but he's been making winning plays. He's got one of the best red zone scoring percentages in the league right now, which is a great stat for QBs. The Browns were really never in this game. Denver came out, scored 2 touchdowns early, and never looked back.
Samaj Kareem and who got the other? Wilson?
Yeah. P. Ryan.
Yeah.
It was the tight end. Yeah, Troutman. Troutman had 1 catch.
Yes. You remember him?
Former Saint. I do remember him. I remember Sean Payton, too. So it's given this Denver Bronco team an identity, something the Saints are really missing right now. Have no identity. Our Derek Carr doesn't take any responsibility. Dennis Allen doesn't take any responsibility. Pete Carmichael doesn't take any responsibility.
Hey, we're past the Saints game.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we already passed the Saints game. Back to the Broncos. Sean Payton has given this team an identity, and they're now on a 5-week win streak.
And the Browns are falling.
Round of applause for Sean
Browns.
Payton. They're faltering. They falter back and forth.
They have a defense, and oh god,
they have he's sick. Get rid of it.
I'm sorry.
They have a defense, and then nothing else. So
yeah,
they're just not consistent on offense.
No Nick Chubb, no quarterback. I mean,
yeah, it's tough.
It's tough to be a Browns fan.
What happened to Nick Chubb?
Something with his leg.
Huh. Anyway, moving on to another divisional matchup.
Fletch, can you pull that up for the fans?
Thank you, Fletch. Kansas City versus the Raiders. The Raiders actually came out
swinging. They were up 14-0.
Crosby was talking mad shit.
Yeah, he loves doing that.
Face.
If you watch quarterback, you know that they got beef.
He had Pat, sweating a little bit, but you know how Pat is under pressure, man. There's no one better. 27-34, 298, 2 scores. I mean, that's Patrick Mahomes, man.
That is Patty.
You don't tussle with Pat.
You don't tussle with Kermit the Frog.
You don't tussle with Kermit the Frog, man. That guy's him. Isaiah Pacheco, also a great day.
Yeah, dude. Fantasy. 2 touchdown performance, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. It's so hard to talk.
Blake's a real trooper. He's here making the video.
Yeah.
I have a double tomorrow. He's sick. I mean, we care, that's why we're here.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, a resounding win for Kansas City. Back to the Raiders real quick, though. Josh Jacobs, early, long touchdown.
Huge.
Didn't really do much after that.
Yeah, but the long touchdown makes you okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, you're okay with that fantasy score for the day.
Well, he had 20 carries, 6 targets. That's fine.
I mean, he had 1 carry for 70 yards with a score, finished with 110. So 19 for 40 after that. I mean, it's a little bit gross. Kansas City's defense definitely were like, that was a fluke. We're not going to let it happen again. Rashee Rice, is this a breakout game for Rashee?
No. Patty spreads the ball around.
I think so too.
A lot.
This will definitely be an outlier game. He should get more involved though.
How did Kelsey played okay?
Kelsey's been kind of disappointing this year.
Yeah.
As a 1st-round pick, Kelsey's been very disappointing.
Yeah.
Played like more of a 4th-round pick, which is, like I said, disappointing.
Yeah.
But a good win for Kansas City. They covered. I want some money. Moving to the game of the week, probably. This thing was chock full of great fantasy players. It was Buffalo versus the Eagles. Josh Allen, the most unlucky man on the planet, 0-6 in a overtime in his career. Poor guy just can't catch a break.
Poor guy.
Cannot catch a break. 339 yards passing, 81 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 2 in the air. What more does this man have to do to get a win for his football team?
Throw less interceptions.
He had 1 pick, not his usual 3.
He leads the league in interceptions.
He does. He does need to turn the ball over less. You feel for the guy, though. You really do. I mean, Jalen Hurts did the same thing on the other side, but he's got an outstanding supporting cast.
Yes.
So they're able to, get over the hump and get a win. Philly has been in too many of these close ones, That's why I think San Francisco's favored. People are kind of saying, Philly may be on a lucky.
Philly likes to make things exciting.
Maybe so. I mean, that kicker, man, has got balls of steel in the pouring down rain to put a 60-yard field goal through the uprights to get your team into OT. I mean, that's nice. That's very nice.
Coughed up my last cough drop. It flew on the ground.
That's so tough for you, not for me. Gabe Davis, he does these from time to time. He's just going to give you a 0 on the next week. Luckily, he's on bye, so you don't have to, talk yourself into starting him.
It does count as 0.
Yeah. On the Eagles side, I mean, A.J. Brown slowed down so much, man. Yep. He was 25 or more a game, and now he's just...
It'll come back around.
Hopefully it'll come back.
Him and Devontae Smith take turns.
They need to go get Ertz, man. I don't know when Goddard's going to come back. Is he supposed to be back this week?
There's a reason he's not on the IR, is what their coach said, so he should be back soon.
Okay. Yeah, they need a Ertz or Goddard to come back, maybe relieve some tension, get AJ Brown the ball. But a great win for Philly, who, top record in the league, 10-1 right now. I mean, Philly's not slowing down anytime soon. Moving to the Sunday night football matchup, we had Baltimore versus the Chargers. The Chargers, man. What a disappointing football team.
Yeah, super disappointing, man. I mean, Herb came out and had a phenomenal year last year.
Disappointing.
He's still a good football player, but, I mean, great quarterback, but the team just is not clicking. Bad defense, offense. We've seen some questionable wide receiver play. Eckler looks slow to me, moving the ball, running the ball. I mean,
he looks like he's still kind of hurt. And Lamar's on the other side. Lamar doesn't have to do much because the Ravens' defense just holds teams to 1 point, and he doesn't have to score multiple touchdowns, man.
Zay Flowers had both their touchdowns in this game. Zay had a great game. Looks like
some real goofy dances at the end of those touchdowns.
Talking about
celebrations.
Talking about throwing the roses.
Little bit weird.
You don't like him throwing the roses?
I'm on Lamar's side. I think.
Did you see his other one? It was like the LeBron side.
Punch, dude. He was like, oh.
That was CJ Stroud.
That was Stroud?
Yeah, Stroud had the Texans line up, and it was from
I think he punched somebody in the face.
It's from like Baby Boy or something.
Nice.
It's a movie.
I like that one. Back to this game though, man. Just Keenan Allen, dude. He's been the guy for the Chargers all year. The one shining glimmer of hope.
Because Mike Will's dead.
Keenan Allen. 16 targets, came down with 14 of them. You love Keenan Allen if you're in a PPR league.
Even half.
Baltimore did cover though. It helps me. Helped my record against you. Great win for Baltimore though. 9-3. They're the top team in the AFC. Just because they haven't had their bye, they're on bye this week though. But just to finish off, last matchup, most boring game of the year, 12-10. Man, a lot of fantasy matchups in all the leagues I'm in came down to this game because there are honestly a lot of options here.
I hate Justin Fields.
Fields actually not only lost Blake his matchup, but lost my friend Flint his matchup as well.
In the guillotine?
Yeah, no, not in guillotine.
Oh, okay.
In the ball jacks. Those 2 fumbles mattered. He lost literally by like 3.8.
I lost by 1.5.
Those 2 fumbles. I mean, just very disappointing stuff. Dobbs looked awful in this game. Fields, those 2 late fumbles, they should have lost because of that.
But they didn't.
I mean, this game was just chock full of nonsense.
So
much nonsense.
Turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover after turnover.
DJ Moore, 11 catches, 100-plus yards. What a player. I believed. You remember, I believed.
Yep.
I believed in him.
Mm-hmm.
And TJ Hawkinson, I mean, he didn't get a target all game. He had 1 target.
He got the only touchdown.
His first catch was in the 3rd quarter. He got 3 more immediately after that, and then 1 catch at the end of the game in the 4th quarter to get a touchdown. I mean, that was just...
So what you would think sealed the deal for Minnesota.
Like I said, the game was just chock full of nonsense. But yeah, that'll do it for Week 12 of our review. Do you want to touch on some news real quick, Blake, just to let the people know what's going on? We can just give them
missed a week, so I'm gonna be like maybe a little off. I know DeAndre Swift is healthy and practicing, fully practicing.
T. Higgins is expected to play Monday Night Football.
There we go.
Am I excited about playing T. Higgins? No, not at all. I'd be trying not to play T. Higgins, but if you have to, he's expected to play.
If you're desperate, if you're in like a crazy 32-man league, something like that, good to know.
Cardinals waived Zach Ertz today. He requested his release. They were okay with it. We were talking about it in our group chat. I expect the Eagles. I'm sure a lot of people do. But Baltimore.
Eagles fans want them.
Baltimore, Miami need tight ends. Those would be great spots. He wants to go get another ring.
Maybe.
Those are 2 spots to do it in.
Tampa Bay.
DTR and concussion protocol.
I didn't know that.
Joe Flacco has been taking QB1 snaps. Is Joe Flacco about to make a comeback in the NFL?
That sounds great.
I'm excited
for the Browns, actually.
News we touched on earlier in the episode. The Jets have designated QB Aaron Rodgers to return from IR. This is ridiculous, AR. Please get healthy. Please just come back next year. Don't ruin your 2024 season.
They're out of playoff contention. They have a 0.4% chance.
You don't need to play A-Rod.
The Jets have a 0.4% chance.
I know you're going to watch this, Aaron Rodgers. I know you're going to watch this. I know you watch every week. Please, man. Take it easy.
Take it ezy. We already talked about Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, out 2-3 weeks. Such a baby.
Zach Moss season.
Jetta's got activated off of IR. He'll play in week 14 after their bye. Probably way too late for a lot of the teams that he's on in fantasy football.
Absolutely. If you took him first overall, you're probably fucked right about now. If you're not fucked, you're stoked to hear it.
Not much other news except for some injuries that happened over the weekend, but most of these guys have been practicing, so not much to harp on. So we're going to go ahead and give you guys our long-awaited game picks.
I'm going to start with
He's going to start.
Thursday night matchup. It's going to be the Cowboys and Seahawks. I'm taking the over in the Cowboys to win. I think they cover the spread as well.
All right. I mean, if you're going to pick something in the game for the Thursday night football game, I have to as well. It's tough. I really don't know where to go, so I'm going to do a wild pick and do what I think the score will end at.
Okay, yeah.
I think a lot of points are going to be scored. It's the Cowboys. So I'll give them 40, 41 maybe.
Okay.
I'll give the Seahawks 31. No, 35. I don't think Jason Myers, he misses kicks. So
yeah.
5 touchdowns is about what I'm expecting out of them. So
okay, yeah.
41-35.
If I were to do any player props, I'd maybe do... I could see a high-scoring matchup as well. I would maybe take DK Metcalf for...
What, 2 touchdowns?
I would give him 2.
2?
I think
I'd take 3 for him.
I think Chardonnay gets
I bet he's plus 1,300 to get 3 scores.
That'd be a crazy bet. Yeah. If there was a crazy book out there, this has only happened 4 times before. I think there's going to be no punts in a Thursday night game.
Really?
Yeah.
It's only happened 4 times.
Ever.
In the history of the NFL.
I just have a feeling that this is going to be a high-scoring game.
We didn't watch the Thursday night football game before this.
No, we didn't. So we'll move on to our next matchup.
Yeah. So starting for
the
noon slate for Week 13. Great game to start on. Lions at the Saints. Lions favored -4.5. Over-under is 46.5. What do you think?
I think Russell's going to hate this take. I think the Lions are going to win. I do think Jared Goff is going to turn the ball over at least one time. Again, I think the Lions cover.
Lions cover. Give me the under 46.5. The Saints are incapable of scoring in the end zone.
I like the under, but I'm not going to comment on whether I take it or not.
I'll take the under. Next game, Broncos at Texans. I wanted to pick a 5th game. I like it when we do 5 games. It gives us, we can go 3-2.
I think this is going to be a good matchup.
Broncos at Texans was the best game I saw on the noon slate, so I thought it was a great game to look at. Houston is favored by 3. The over-under is 47.5. I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to take the over 47.5. I think both of these offenses are very capable. Houston favored by 3. I mean, the Broncos are on a 5-week win streak. They're playing winning football. The Texans have lost close games, so besides that one, you remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'm going to take the over here. Over 47.5 with the Broncos and Texans.
I like the under, and I think the Texans are going to cover.
Makes me feel much better about my picks. Moving to the 3 o'clocks. This is probably the game of the week.
Game of the week alert.
49ers at Eagles. San Francisco somehow has found themselves favored by 3 points in Philly, and the over-under is 47.5.
What do you think about that?
I think that it's so scary. It's super, super scary. I think that line is scary. And because it's so scary, I'm going to take the over. Because the Eagles can just score 30 points in a matter of seconds.
That's true.
So I'm going to take the over here.
I also like the over, and I think the 49ers being favored is dumb.
I think that's a trap.
I think it's a trap also, so I like the Eagles to win and cover.
I think it's a trap in the opposite way of what you're looking at. But we're going to move on to the Sunday night.
Oh, you think
game.
it's a trap that they're... Oh, really? Okay.
Super trappy. Very trappy looking at that number. Chiefs at Packers, though. Kansas City -6 points. Over-unders 42.5. Both of these offenses have struggled. That's why I think that line is at 42. But KC -6. They only got to win by a touchdown. I'm taking that. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's really good at football. So I'm going to take KC -6.
Okay. I think the Chiefs will come out and win this game for sure, and I do think that's a low over-under. I'm going to take the over, but I don't think the Chiefs cover. You know, Jordan Love played electric last week, and I think they hang in there.
So you're taking the Packers.
Yeah.
I love my picks so far. 12-19, by the way. It's okay. Just to finish off before Blake goes into
I'm going to be at this game.
Yeah, Blake's going to be here, so I'm going to let him lead here.
Bengals at Jags in Jacksonville. I'll be hanging in
Jacksonville with the co-commish.
What do they call that? What's their thing? I'll be hanging out in Duval County.
Duval!
I'm gonna be wearing a Travis Etienne jersey, buddy. So I'm gonna take the Jags to 8.5. Man, Jake Browning is not gonna hang in there with a nice Jacksonville offense and solid defense. I'm going to take the over. I think they score enough to make it not like a, 10-28 final. Remember that number?
I'm going to take the over as well, 38.5. I mean, I think the Jags can put up 35 points in this game. So you're telling me I only need 4 points out of the Bengals?
Just a couple safeties.
Couple safeties is all I need. That will do it for our week 13 video, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Blake's going to go ahead and take a nightfall and get to sleep.
Pray for me
all next week.
If you believe in that.